What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Battle Belongs podcast. I'm Coleton with my co-host PJ. A quick little reminder / house cleaning thing. I've had people from back home trying to sabotage the podcast, and they've been writing some ridiculous, stupid reviews, giving it 1 star, and I know who these people are. So
we'll find
before
you.
We'll find you, and I will take you off the map. So to help us out, to help the podcast out, stop what you're doing right now. Go into the whatever you're on, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Leave a review.
Subscribe, leave a review.
A 5-star, because I think it's a 5-star podcast.
Yeah, we're not doing anything wrong. So support us.
And we're saying all the right things.
Absolutely.
Especially me, in my opinion, is never wrong or incorrect.
Now back to me.
Yeah, so back to me, back to my podcast. So do that, helps us out. I really appreciate it. If you haven't listened to last week's podcast, I think it was one of the best episodes we have, so no pressure, buddy. It was very biblical. We dove deep into God's design for marriage and the structure of the house under the Lord's leadership. And I think it doesn't matter if you're single, engaged, married,
dating,
divorced, dating, or even widowed, or any of those. You could take something away from it. So definitely go back and listen. It was Pastor Keith Altree, student pastor here. But this week we have an interesting topic, so I'll let you take it from there.
So how can I transition
Go ahead.
So if you noticed, somebody else on the podcast today, we got Ben here from, I just say Conway Nutrition.
This is one of PJ's idols. So PJ has a lot of idols, and we have him on the podcast. And Ben is for sure. Ben is for sure one of PJ's top idols.
So here's my thing. Ben is a local business owner in the area of which we live in Conway, South Carolina. Moved here from Alabama, right? No, Mississippi originally. From Alabama. Yeah. And so I literally went into Conway Nutrition, which is a nutrition shop in the area that sells and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but just protein shakes, caffeinated teas and beverages that are nutritional in value and whatnot. And so I went in there, and the thing that kept me coming back was, of course, I love the teas. He brought us some today.
You all know.
Shout out.
Nutrition. We talk about
trying to get them. We're trying
the unofficial drink of the Battle Belongs podcast.
Yes. But it's just the relationship I built with Ben and his wife. The way I describe it is, I actually have the quote pulled up. I'm big on hospitality and authenticity. Ben, right from the jump, and this quote says this, it's from The Gospel Comes with a House Key. It says, "Radically ordinary hospitality is this: using your Christian home, or in this sense, your Christian business, in a daily way that seeks to make strangers neighbors and neighbors family of God." From the jump, man, we just had conversations about things that we are like-minded in, whether it's sports, faith, everyday livelihood. And what I respect most about you is just how much you love your wife, how dedicated you are to the grind of the business that the Lord has given you, and just your tenacity. You're a go-getter, and there's a lot of respect there. And so he's somebody I'm 100% support the local businesses, and I think Ben's a testimony to why we do that. And so I just appreciate your friendship and what you're doing.
Wow, I appreciate that. That was a great introduction.
I was waiting for him to get up and come give you a hug.
Yeah, no, I want to give you a hug.
Do you want to sit here to be closer?
Yeah, those were really kind words.
Well, just leaning into that, I guess my first question for you is who is Ben? In a general way.
Yeah, it's a great question. But I actually listened before I answer that, I actually listened to the podcast last week on my way to the gym, and it really was a great podcast. I was just going to listen to it there.
Yeah. But
the topic of conversation was it was intriguing, it was good, and I loved hearing what you guys had to say. So I just listened to it the whole time while I was working out. So it was a really great podcast.
So 5-star review.
5-star review. The pressure is high though. Right now I'm a little nervous, but and to what you said too about we make people feel like family. That's one thing that we like to do with everyone that comes into our shop. We just want people to feel like, you ever meet someone for the first time and you feel like, you know that person, but you really don't.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the way we try to make people feel when they come in, and we try to just everyone of different walks of life. But back to your question, you know, who am I? You know, I'm a husband. I'm a friend. I'm passionate. I'm very driven, as PJ mentioned, and you know, I love relationships. I love building relationships with people, and you know, making the friendships that last. I have a small like friend group, so I'm sort of picky with who I like to hang out with and stuff like that.
Same.
Which I think is good to do. You know, you don't need to be friends with everybody. And but yeah, I'm a family guy. I love to travel. I'm a foodie. I love to eat. Me and my wife, we travel a lot, so we like to, you know, try out new restaurants. I'm telling PJ all the time about, like, he told me he's going to California. I'm like, you need to go here and stuff like that. So
That's true.
yeah, I love experiencing life, but I also love the little things like conversation and just enjoying time with people is a passion of mine, which is why I sort of do, you know, I'm a healthy bartender in a way and like create the conversations with people. So a little bit about me.
That's a good description. Healthy bartender.
And I think you embody that. Like, it's not just like it's not just like a saying, but genuinely, like like sometimes like I'll be in the shop for like an hour or two just having conversations with them, but every person that walks in that door, you welcome them. It's not like they're a forgotten piece of the puzzle, and you, like, it's almost one of those things, you never know somebody's background or their story, and yet every time they come in, it's almost kind of like that, like, hey, welcome home.
Definitely.
So I respect that a lot.
Yeah, so we to touch on that, you know, like, there's a lot of negativity in the world. So like, not just like me and my wife, her name's Caroline, so me and Caroline, but the people that we bring on, we try to let everybody know, you know, like, a lot of people are surrounded by negativity throughout their day.
Yeah.
And they don't have to come into our shop at all.
Right.
They're you guys are the reason why we're able to do what we do. So we try to like just make people feel like family and welcome, and try to, you know, be that positive influence, I guess, or a light that they get for like 15 seconds. Because, you know, not a lot of people get asked like, how's your day? Or like just simple things like, what are you doing today? Or like, did you have a good weekend? Or, you know, compliment their shoes or something like that. Put a smile on their face. Like, a lot of people don't get that during the day. So if you can just like make people feel like good in like a minute or two or an hour, then, you know, it really makes a big impact on someone's life.
Speaking of shoes, I love the shoes. Ben made sure that we got the shoes in the shot.
I'm
I
a
like
shoe
the whole
guy.
fit. You came in,
Appreciate it.
This
Thank
guy's got
you.
style.
Thank
Look
you.
at this guy.
It's like my TikTok's full of like fashion content creators.
I
And food,
love
so.
fashion, but I need to like gain weight so I can pull it off. I love fashion so much that I sat and went through the Grammy outfits and
I saw
was like
that,
rating them about how bad they were and how good they were.
You didn't give Taylor Swift a 10 out of 10 though. So me and Caroline were a little hurt about that. It's okay.
If I almost didn't see her crotch, it would have been a little higher of a score. But I mean, the skirt was pretty up there. But that's considered modest now compared to most outfits.
The
Anyway,
Jaden Smith,
did
house.
you see any of these? Because you're not on social media.
Oh, dude,
social media.
you're not on social media?
Haven't been on, I guess only a month into the year, but 2025 haven't been on. So it's been
He
refreshing.
basically had this like
Been refreshing.
house on his head with just like his face cut out in the
I
middle.
believe it.
And he's like
And-
standing like this,
Yeah.
right?
And the suit looked great. I thought the suit looked
suit was
nice.
nice.
And my comment was the house on his head is probably worth more than anything I could even afford in a real life house.
You're not wrong.
It's just, and it's so crazy. This is so off topic. I'm sorry that we're going down this rabbit hole. But it's just so crazy that all these people think that like everyone's just so oppressed and they're so oppressed. And then they go to these big events and then wear something that is worth more than our entire yearly income.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just reminded me of something of the Hunger
Are you
Games.
saying like celebrities like talking
Yes.
about being oppressed like
Yeah.
like this country? Yeah.
Or like them and like their backgrounds and stuff, and they're just living on this like high horse. And I guess this kind of ties into what we're talking about, because we all talked about like money and things like that. Of money's not necessarily a bad thing. It's the lust of money, and how you use the money is like the root of all evil. And
I
think
feel like that quote that money is the root of evil.
Yeah.
Gets like,
We've talked
I don't
about
know. Yeah, I don't really agree with that at all.
they misuse it.
They
in a
do.
way.
They do.
Because you're a business owner, so like you're making money yourself, but like you're not also using it for bad things and the devil's agenda. Like you're
Yes.
using it for God's glory too.
Yes.
So I want to know, basically, why did you want to start this like nutrition center?
Yeah.
I think it's so cool. And PJ is going to take notes on how to start one. And then
Yeah, I'm waiting to help you guys.
We've been in talks.
I'm waiting to help you guys. And also, too, good news because, we're opening Refresh Conway. I got my business license
week.
today,
Let's
next
go.
week. So we're opening
will be
Friday,
there.
next Friday. So that's the
Next Friday.
So
Mark that, and we'll move you out that day too.
great. So
It'll be a
let's start
good
with
day.
the sweet treat.
yeah. So, but why did I start? I didn't grow up, wanting to own a nutrition club business or own a tea shop. That definitely wasn't in the cards. But I don't know, like a little like backstory is like I don't really like come from much. So but like my mom was her own boss, and I had other family members that were their own boss. So I saw that and like how like they were able to create their own schedule, but I didn't want to do what they do, and I knew like I only went to college for I went to college for the wrong reasons.
Right.
I didn't go for the right reasons, like to get a degree and go down the corporate path. I went for just to prove people wrong that I could get a degree. So, but I knew I wanted to do something like entrepreneurial, I just didn't know what. So I just, while I was in college, I'm thankful I went to college because, it plays out. So our friends just happened to open a nutrition club in the town that are now friends in the town that I lived in. And I was going to school to be a strength coach. I wanted to be a strength coach for college, and not because I wanted to, I'm just like, I was good at that. And then I was minoring in entrepreneurship, but then I thought that was a little silly because, it doesn't really teach you like to be an entrepreneur. You have to like, there's no book that can teach you.
Right.
You have to take the scars and stuff. Like you have to find out for
risk.
yourself. Right. So, so there was someone that opened one there. And
Is this in Mississippi?
this is in Alabama.
Okay,
So I'm originally from Alabama. We lived in Mississippi. Say what? Roll Tide? Yeah, the best team in the world. I know you guys probably disagree.
No,
but-
I'm a Bama fan.
Oh, you are? Okay. Yeah.
Not
to
like
Roll Tide.
top Bama.
You don't see it a lot here in South Carolina. It's a lot of like, so it's nice to know we have other ones here. But so I was shown my now one of my best friends. We had similar backgrounds, and he told me where he was going with this opportunity. Right. So it's not necessarily like I just believed in like energy, and like you can see in someone's eyes like where they're going. Right. You can tell if they're lying or being truthful or like all these things in their eyes. And I could see in his eyes like he was going to create something with this opportunity. And being like I was 22 when I came into a network marketing, and I just saw what could be possible for my life. And it was a way that I could start something and not like, and I could do it around my schedule.
Yeah.
So I always worked like multiple jobs and stuff like that. So it was just like, in a way, it was like, I feel like God put it into my life, because I wasn't necessarily like going down the right path, I would say. So when I found the opportunity, it just, it was like perfect. So did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
I love what you have to say too, because you said earlier that you're a relational guy, like relationships matter to you, and this is a proven point. Like, this is now one of your best friends. You said that that kind of helps you get on this pathway of becoming. So I guess my question is, even the Bible talks about this in Proverbs. It says, "Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm." Why is it so vital for you to surround yourself with the right people?
Yeah, it's important because, everybody hears the quotes, if you're around 5 people, you'll be the 6th. So like if you're around, 5 dummies, you'll be the 6th dummy. If you're around 5 rich people, you'll be the 6th rich person.
That's what happened to PJ.
So I just like, I don't know. My relationships are everything. And when I knew I was going on a path of like being an entrepreneur and stuff like that, I don't know. I've always been able to like learn from other people's, like I always hung out with older people and like sort of grew up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I would say like I could understand things more. So like at a young age, I was able to understand, like just see like where certain people were going in their life or what they were doing. Yeah. And like, not like they were doing anything bad. It just didn't like necessarily what I wanted to do with my life. So just understanding, I don't know, like I just enjoy being around people that like talked about goals, talked about vision, have drive. Because like it's not a real common thing to like have that drive and stuff like that. So if you can find people that like you can relate with and stuff and talk about, because like, you know, you hang around 5 people that don't have the same views as you, and you talk about like something, it makes you be like the odd one out, right? So and then like, so you have to also be careful too, like who you're telling like your goals to and stuff like that, because they can like shut you down really quick. And if you're not like, if you don't have that self-belief in yourself already, then you could like put that dream away and never even take the chance. So.
I think that's so important too, because in today's culture, like there's so many of us who have that drive, that want to succeed, that want to do great things and do big things in our own lives and just in the lives of others around us. But our culture today is like just such a lazy culture. They don't want to do anything. They want to live off of other people. They want to live off the government. So like surrounding yourself with the people who have ambition, I think is a very wise thing.
I think it's beyond ambition too. You're a very disciplined person is what I've learned about you. I mean, you've got timers on your phone when it's time for your next meal, your next, like that to me, you wake up, you know, at what time are you up in the morning?
Yeah, like 4:30.
4:30 in the morning.
Oh my Lord.
And you know what he's doing? He's reading. And he's self-reflecting, like, and so those goals, like, those are disciplines, and I follow the Jocko quote, like, I think discipline equals freedom.
Yes.
And so for you, like, why has discipline become such a vital role? And to you, is there a good starting point for somebody that's like, you know, I want to be motivated, I want to be disciplined. Like, where would you tell them, like, this is where you should start? Yeah.
So about the part about like why it's important. And then I'll answer like where they should start. But you know why it's important? Like for me, like I understood my goals. So like I said, like I don't really come from much, but I have really big goals. I'm not going to say what they are, but I want to create an incredible life for not only myself and my wife, but like my future kids and my grandchildren. And I just understood like, thankfully when I was able to start as an entrepreneur at a young age, that I knew like the sacrifices would be worth it. And someone's got to make the sacrifices. It's either going to be like eventually somebody, and I wanted it to be me. Like I wanted to, you know, create something for my kids. So I was just aware of like, and this sounds weird, but like I've always had this sense of like wanting to do something great. Like I played sports growing up.
Yeah.
On the way to, and I guess that's where a lot of discipline comes to, is like being put into sports, because you're forced to like do things that you don't want to do a lot of times.
Right.
So as a child, that's probably like where it stemmed from. But, you know, I'd go to like baseball games and I'm not listening to music. I'm listening to, there was this like Eric Thomas, like To Be Successful. I don't know if you guys ever heard it, but I've heard it so much I could recite the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I would listen to that at 16 years old on the way to games. So I just wanted to be, out of the like, I just wanted more. And, so to answer your question, to be disciplined, I knew like, because I've always been like disciplined, but not like, I would say I'm better now, and I'm not perfect at all. I fail a lot, but I'm more disciplined now than I was at 20 or 18, but it's just practice. And it's just like adding things slowly but surely. So like the more disciplined I am, like there's people that want the same thing as me, right? So if I know that someone's out there, you know, they're reading the books, they're, you know, doing the nutrition, they're making the sacrifices, like they're not going out to party or anything. They're like developing their mind, because like in network marketing, you deal with a lot of people, right? So if I'm not developing my mind to like, if there's like 5 or 6 people that come to me and they're all different types of people and I don't know how to handle those personalities, I'm going to lose them. So I'm like, I just understood that I needed to, you know, I would say when I was younger, my mindset wasn't in the best place. So I knew that if I wanted to be, and I'm still not where I'm at, but I knew that you have to be disciplined. Like you have to do these things to get there. And it's the price you have to pay. Discipline is a price you have to pay for success. You know, success isn't given. So it's just like understanding that, you know, sometimes you're going to have to, you know, do things that you don't want to do. And I think like for someone that like wants to build a discipline, it's just like, say you never go to the gym, because you have to have balance, right? So Coleton, if you don't go to the gym, you know, just like start by walking, or like make yourself do something that's uncomfortable, something small. So like if someone drinks soda all the time, and
cut it,
not necessarily just like cut it out completely, but like tone it back. Like if you have a soda 5 days a week, have one 3 days a week. So you start to like build that small discipline muscle, and then you can like add on more. So like, for example, so you said someone wanted to get started. So like when I was becoming an entrepreneur and like wanted to develop my mind and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, I need to build the discipline of like, how do I change my mind? And how can I do it without failing? Because I think a lot of people, when they struggle with discipline because they like cut things off cold turkey, and that's not the way to do it. I did it in a way where I fit it around the schedule, my current schedule. So I knew that I needed to put positive things in my ear. I didn't know like necessarily what personal development was. So like with the successful video, that's like motivation. That's something that like gets you hyped for the moment, but motivation fades, right? Yeah. So personal development is two different things. So I started looking up like I told you, Jim Rohn, guy named like Les Brown, Tony Robbins. And I was just like, okay, I can listen to this in my car and it does not change anything in my life. I'm cutting out music, which I guess is a discipline, but now I'm putting like good things in my ear. So I'm building this discipline slowly to where like when I was like from 22 to like 24, I didn't listen to music. I only like listened to personal development, which I know is like weird, but in the car, I would just like cut it on. I just loved it. So it became like a passion to like just listen and try to grow. But yeah, so when I was getting started, I would just, slowly do that. And then like once I was like, okay, I'm in the car and it's comfortable for me now to listen to personal development. Okay, what's something that I can stack on top of that? For me, it was getting up at 5 a.m. So I started getting up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym. Once I got comfortable doing that, it's like, okay, you're eating healthy this many times a day. Let's see if you can like, cut the sweets or something out like for X amount of days, and then you can have one. So you're just like stacking wins on top of your day.
Man, wow. I want to run through a brick wall right now.
That's why every time I leave the shop, I'm like, I'm going to be a different person.
This is so good. Well, I feel horrible about myself because I woke up at 9 a.m. today. And see, that's something I struggle with. Like, I know what I want, and I know the finish line. It's getting myself to do it. And I've tried like the whole getting up early, and then I just get like so tired like midday. So how do you like work through that? Is it like your nutrition shot that gets you through it?
Yes. Yeah. A lot of caffeine in the mornings. But no, so you said you like, okay, I can try to help you out real quick. So you said you have your like, you know what you want.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you know what you want, okay, you can want something, but maybe it's not strong enough. Mm-hmm. Like you have to have a why behind it. Yeah. Like what like really pushes you to know like I have to do this. And I think it helps when it becomes external. Mm-hmm. Like or not, so it's not internal anymore. Like you're not doing it for Coleton anymore. Mm-hmm. Like you're doing it for someone else. Mm-hmm. So like for me, it's like I don't have kids yet, but like I know I do it for them. I do it for my wife. I do it for my mom. You have people that are counting on you. So it's like, for me, those are my why, to like get up early or, do little things that will pay off in the future. So I'm not, you don't have to like put the pressure on them and like I'm doing this for you, but, right. Something that
it's bigger than yourself.
It's bigger than yourself or something. So maybe like what you think is your why, maybe isn't your why, because like if you find like something, it should like move you, which makes it easier. But if you do like the getting up early and stuff like that, was that your question too? Like,
yeah. So like, because like the people say that here's my 5 to 9 before my 9 to 5.
Yes.
So like I could be working during that time, like above and beyond. And that's what I
struggle
need to get
with.
To. Yeah. It's like
so, I don't know if you stay up late or not. Like, and I guess it helps me too. Like I have to be if I'm working and I have to be at my shop, we open at 6:30, so I have to get up at I get there at 6:10. So it's like I'm forced to get up at 4:30 too. So like if it's a 9, like on days that I'm off, the latest is still 6:30.
Yeah.
So, but in that time, you could just, I don't know, like you don't have to do 5. I wouldn't say. So if you have 9, you could try 6. Yeah. Like that's still 3 hours.
Well, it's almost like you said too. It's taking that short stint. So if it's the sodas 5 days a week, cut it back to 3. I've read up on it where it's like, hey, if you're getting up at 8 every day, but you want to get up at 6, start with 7:45.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, do it for a week.
Incrementally.
Yeah.
And
so
that helps a lot.
I think discipline does take time. And
It does.
Think, yeah. You've been doing it for how many years now?
I've been doing it for 8 years, and like something that I struggle with, since we're on the topic of discipline, is like eating. Like I grew up like a heavier set kid, and then I lost a lot of weight when I was younger, and then I put some back on, and then I've had definitely, that's something that just like it's hard, you know, and I think it's hard for a lot of people. So it's something that I still work on today, and I still struggle with it, and it just takes time, you know. You just have to I think like you want it like some people want it like fast, so you just have to know like it's like as long as I'm being healthier, like slowly it'll
It's like counting the costs.
Yes.
Of all of it. Oh, write that down. Before you ask your next question, he was talking about like motivation and how like motivation fades and stuff.
Absolutely.
And the whole time he was talking about that, all I was thinking of was like conferences like Passion, things like that, where people go into it and they're like, okay, Lord, give me a word, give me a sermon, and then you hear that sermon and it's like, yes, I'm going to do all these things, and you're on fire for Jesus. Wow, you're there, and within a week after, you leave Passion, and then it like burns out.
Yeah.
And that's just like where my mind went.
Well,
so
and
then,
too, like people don't understand, like when you're on the mountaintop, it's so easy to celebrate. It's so easy to look, like see that. But honestly, faith is found in the valley. Like faith is found when you're in the fire. And so like things like Passion and events like that are fantastic. I love like any sort of event that's going to be helpful to me with ministry or personal development, or that's going to like Passion's always great because it's the beginning of the year. So I'm starting my year off in worship to the God that I serve. And so that's great and all, but I always tell our students as soon as I'm like, hey, that fire that you have burning at this event, like let it be seen and let it be known in that weekly church service, or let it be known in your everyday life. Like if you're going to be a reflection of what you talked about, like understand the gospel doesn't change, like he remains the same. And so like that's got to be the discipline that you're reminding yourself every morning of, because it's when you wake up and you're back in that daily routine that truly that's your ministry, and that is like where the Lord has you. So like use it.
Yeah. And that whole thing about the why, that was a conviction right there.
Yeah. What's your why?
Well, it's changing now.
That's good. But
I feel
like,
bad now.
That's reflection.
No,
right?
I need that.
That's
Like,
personal
that's exactly.
reflection.
Yeah. You're
And
doing your
you
job
said,
well.
like,
And sometimes too, like your why can change.
Yeah.
Like just like it can move you for so like
seasons of life.
seasons of life. Like it changes all the time.
Yeah. Mine was just more selfish than what it needs to be. So
Which I
thanks for
think
coming on. Now we can leave.
goals are fine.
No, and everybody, like, you bettering yourself is not selfish.
No.
I don't think.
No.
I think we have a body to steward. We have a mind that we're called to steward. So it's like, what are you doing with it? Because the opposite is being lazy, like you talked about. Like we have a culture that's lazy, and so how do we counter-react that? And it's by doing the hard things.
Mm-hmm. So how does like your faith play into like this whole discipline thing with like your goals and stuff and reaching them? Like, does faith help you be more disciplined and like motivate you to do that?
Yeah, I guess so. Like a little like I think I told PJ one time, like I grew up like a Christian, of course, and like I always believe in God and everything, but I can't remember if I told you this or not, but like I always thought that I was just going to do what I wanted until I was like 60. Yeah. And then I was going to like, all right, I'll like follow, do the right thing and all that. And then like God put this opportunity in my life, and so much that like I feel like I can't it's nice. Like I think I was telling you too, like it's nice to put your faith into something, and like to take that pressure off of yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been everything. Like, it's discipline. I mean, just like the journey of like struggles and stuff like that, of like, you make a lot of sacrifices in the beginning stages of like building a business that you don't expect to have to do. And, you have to put a smile on your face in front of people and act like everything's great. But then like behind closed doors, it might be like, you might be actually like really going through something and struggling. And, to have, God there and like talking to him, like you just said, through the valleys, it like, and you know, like, okay, he put this in my life, right? So if I just keep trusting in him and doing these things, eventually something has to give. Like there's this, we'll do like trainings and stuff like that, and I always show this picture of like the coal miner. Have y'all ever seen that? And he's like digging, and he walks away.
Yeah.
And so it's like that. Like I just, you know, you got to have your faith in him and trust too. Like you need to like go through hard times because it makes you a stronger person, and it makes you, you know. So my faith is everything. Like I talk to, and a lot of it too is just being grateful for like what I have. No matter like if we like, I remember when we were. I look back now because like times are a lot better than what they used to be, and but I look back at the hard times with me and my friends. We're like trying to grow a business that was not cool. Like how like a lot of like when we started this, you know, it wasn't a cool thing. Like it's not nutrition clubs or tea shops, whatever you want to call them. They're not around, right? So you can imagine like what people say and stuff like that, and it was like hard times, and but I look back and they're like the best of times because of what it made us. And like it grew my faith and made it stronger. So like I feel like it's everything. Like I talk to God every morning. Something I do struggle with though, and I think I've asked. I can't remember if I've asked you or not. I feel like I have though. Is like I like asking God a question and just knowing if He's like talking to me and I can understand, or if it's just like myself answering the question. If that makes sense. So that's something that I do struggle with. But you know, it's everything. Like it's just trusting that He has, you know, a plan for you takes a little bit of anxiety away, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I do respect about you, though. Like, a lot of people aren't open to the conversation of, like, admitting, like things like that. They're like, do I sound crazy saying that out loud? But the reality is, like, we have to ask such things because, yeah, it's not always, like, a direct answer.
No, you do. Like, this like might sound bad, but like I question like a lot of everything. Like Caroline gets mad at me a lot because like
how I'm wired though.
It's the way I am too. Like I mean, it doesn't like you could tell me that's blue, and I'm like, you know, maybe, you know, like or that's why. So it's like it comes with that. So like that's why I tell PJ he's a black belt in Christianity. So I always have questions, and they might like. In a way, it like challenges my faith, but I like that. Yeah. Because I need answers to like make my faith grow stronger. Like I've asked you questions. I can't think of any right now.
Well, but it challenges me too. Like because it's questions that again not a lot of people would ask. And so like mad respect, bro. And I respect like that's one thing that like really touched me because like we were able to openly talk about our faith. And you know. He's certain, like him and his wife, like are involved in a local church, and like they're both believers, and so like having those conversations, but understanding like neither one of us have all the answers, and I think that's what I love about the podcast is like we invite people on that specialize in certain areas, and I look at your life and it's clear like you're passionate about your business, you're a successful business owner, but you also like you're doing the behind the scenes stuff that not a lot of people want to take the steps to do, and so there's just a lot of respect, man, like, and faith is so evident in it. And so like, sometimes people don't understand, like they struggle with, man, I don't know how to really live out my faith or share the gospel. Like I can tell you from just like being around you, like it's evident. And so like, I'm so grateful that Jesus is at the forefront there. And,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Cause a lot of times I don't feel that way. So I appreciate it.
And it's just like understanding, like it's not just a feeling, like, you know, and I think, like you said, like it takes looking back. That's the same way with faith. It's like, man, I feel like I haven't grown at all in the last year, but then you're like, oh, I got like, I've read through these 3 books in the Bible where I've gotten to share my faith twice this year. Like I didn't do that in 5 years previously. So it's just like, I think that's where personal development does take a crucial role because it's like almost that you reflect a lot, you said, and you're reminding yourself of like being grateful. And I actually read a statistic, and I don't know it to be true, but like the same feeling that somebody gets when they win the lottery is the same feeling somebody gets when they are reminding themselves daily of like the little things in life that they're grateful for. And if you take time to consistently do that and write it down and develop that discipline, you would have the same feeling as you would like with that money. So it's just like it's crazy to me like like how much we put faith into certain things, like money and all that's not bad, but it's more or less like what's at the forefront, what's leading me. And so I just I really respect you and Caro a lot.
Appreciate
Well,
that.
you both talk about like reflection and like looking back on the different things, and I just think it's so important that we just never get over what God has done in our lives and what He's pulled us from. You know me, I constantly cry when I'm reminded of like where I was and the testimony that God brought me from. And I think it's just so healthy just to be constantly reminded of like what you went through, but then not just like wallowing in self-pity of like what you went through, but then using that, like you have the motivation of, you know, not coming from much and like turning it into something great.
Yeah.
And only God can do that.
Amen.
And so I think that's vital to just like keep in the back of your head is like, don't be afraid to just like keep looking back and reflecting on it.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
What would Ben? What would be like your one piece of advice to the world? Like if you were like, man, this is one thing I would want the world to know. Not even just about you, just like if you had to give advice to somebody, like what direction you taking it?
Yeah. Definitely like what we just talked about, like gratitude. You know, just being grateful because like you just said something like about like people like wallow and their like sadness and yeah, like what'd you say?
Wallow in self-pity.
yeah. And I don't know, like I heard something like last year, and it was like, you know, there's like levels to sadness, and there's like levels to happiness and stuff. So like, you know, sometimes like say you forget to charge your phone and it like ruins someone's day. And like, so like to them, like in that moment, they're like thinking that their phone not being charged, like they don't have it on, it's like a 10 sadness. But there's people that like lost their children, right? Like that to me, that's like a level 10. Or like something like terrible happened to their family member or their dog, or, you know, just something like a 10. So it just makes you like, when you look at like your problems, they're not as bad as you think, right? Yeah. So then it's like, okay, then it transitions to like, okay, this problem is actually a 1 or a 2, but I was like putting it on the 10, so now I'm like grateful for the problems that I do have. And then, and two, another thing is like, just try to like, I think it's important to like just be in the moment, which is hard to do with like our phones and stuff, you know, like social media and everything. It's hard to, you know, you don't want to wish your life away and like always look forward to the weekend and stuff like that. And just like, you just want to try to be present. So I think those are like the two things that are important.
So like going back to the business side of things, what would be like a piece of advice for someone who wants to start
a business?
Start a business, yeah.
Yeah, I think you need a mentor. So I think you need to find somebody like, and no matter what field you want to go into. And I think like, I'm a real big advocate for like college students and people in their 20s to take chances on their life, because you're told to like grow up, go to college, get a degree, work a 9 to 5, retire, and that's what you should do. And like, I just don't think that way. I think you should take all the risks that you can and open up, you know, take a chance on yourself, you know, bet on yourself, believe in yourself. That's why it's so important to what we've been talking about, get around the right people. Yeah. And like, so when I say like you need a mentor, like if you want to get into real estate and you want to, you know, have this massive like, I'm going blank on like a real estate broker, I believe is like, and or like you want to, you know, own a, you know, a construction business or just anything. Like you want to be some type, I would go and, you know, just work for free to gain knowledge from people that are doing what you're doing, and just learn, you know, get the skills, you know, start developing the skills, reading the books, doing what you have to do. But having a mentor that has been where you want to go is important. So like taking advice, you know, you hear like, I wouldn't take advice from someone that doesn't have the life that I want. So not listening to the people that aren't doing what you're doing, and but listening to the people that are where you want to be.
That's good.
Well, like you talked to like, and we've talked about this before, but like when it comes to like just setbacks or failures or challenges in that, like they're inevitable. Like they're going to come. Like you alluded to it earlier. Like nobody's perfect. So along the way, there's going to be those setbacks. Like for you, what was like how did you overcome them, and what was kind of like the driving force for you? Because it's easy. So many people, they're like, I give in. Like
they throw their hands up and quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say?
Yeah. So, so your question is why I didn't quit, or like
Why you didn't quit and how?
How? Yeah. I don't know. I just like, I'm a stubborn person. So like the first couple years, I was just really like, I use like motivation of proving people wrong for the first like 2 or 3 years. So that's like one thing, motivation to prove people wrong, prove to myself maybe even more that I can do something. So like to me, like a lot of the times is like, if I quit, I can quit, right? But there's someone out there that, you know, needs this opportunity. And if I quit, I'm quitting on them. So like we were talking about like our why it's not just about me anymore, it's about someone else. So I really like, I don't know if that's for like, can help everyone, but like for me, that's like really something like we're not just doing it for me, but we're doing it for someone that we haven't even met yet. But also too, like I enjoy what I do, and it doesn't, and like, I think I said this a minute ago, but like the sacrifices are what you have to pay. You have to pay the price, and it doesn't come for free. Success does not come for free.
Yep.
So you have to sacrifice time. You have to sacrifice money. You maybe have to move 9 hours away. You know, you might have to just, you know, not go out to eat all the time, or, you know, you have to learn the books. You have to read. You have to, you know, go out and hand out flyers or post on social media every day, or talk to people that you don't want to talk to, and put the smile on, show up when you don't want to. Because a lot of the times, like, it's easy to quit, but it's not easy to keep going. Yeah. And like you just said, a lot of people do. And you know, I think having a support group too. Like, so if you're not doing it alone, definitely helps.
Yeah.
Helps you to, you know, get by in the hard times. But yeah.
I like it. I got a deeper question that kind of goes along with like setbacks and challenges and things like that. So, like, as a business owner yourself, and even me, like I started the whole candle business and things like that. So I've always struggled with comparison and just like either my goals, body image, things like that. So when it comes to like a business, that comparison like takes it to a whole nother level. Like, well, this person's more successful than I am. They have a better grind than I do. So basically, how can Christians and just anyone in general develop a strong sense of identity and self-worth in a culture that often promotes comparison and external like validation?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm glad you asked that question. So comparison it's a good and bad thing, I think. So like I look at people, I compare my life to people in a way like, okay, so, you know, social media is everybody's like highlight reel, right? So say I do see someone in my profession that's living this life, and like I see my life I have, I'm grateful for my life, but I look at theirs as like a motivation of what I can have. So like what they have right now is like their chapter 20, but I'm on like chapter 5. So, you know, they've already put in the work and the time. So like I understand that, but at the same time too, I think it's important to like have like, you know, the best you can is like blinders on. So, and just focusing on what you can do and what I can control. So like if I have a candle business, what can I control? I can control giving out samples all the time to people for free to try to get my product there, to ask them to tag me on social media since I'm giving you this for free, you know, to post constantly on social media or on TikTok, you know, going to businesses, asking if you can set up. So like massive work is what I can control. So I think in that sense, it's good to like only focus on yourself, but it's also good to compare, you know, because like maybe you're not doing like, maybe it's like you want this, but your work level is here. So that's like understanding like, okay, maybe I need to put in more work and stuff like that. So I don't think comparison, I think it can be bad, but if used right, it can be like motivation to create the life that you can have too. Because what someone has, you can have it too. It's all out there for all of us. You just have to, you know, be willing to take the time and do the work.
That's good.
I respect that. Yeah. I never thought about it. Like you kind of took something that is seen as negative and you turned it for good. And we know scripture, he takes what the enemy means for evil and uses it for good as well. So, good little illustration there.
Are you comparing him to God?
No.
No.
Final question for you.
Okay.
Just kind of one that we had written down here. What has been the most surprising lesson or lessons you've learned while building your business or building your brand?
Surprising lessons?
Like along the way, did anything kind of like stick out to you?
Got to think for a second.
That's fine.
Yeah. Let me just.
It doesn't have to be
think.
like a surprising thing, but just like one of the biggest takeaways.
Yeah, because I mean, you've started. Did you start in Alabama with the nutrition shops?
I started there and then moved to
Mississippi.
Alabama. 'Cause Caroline went to school there for a little while, and then we moved to South
So
Carolina.
you took a lot of risk.
A lot of risk, yeah. So that's the thing, though. Like I was talking about a minute ago,
Like the college students, like jump, like
taking risk. Like I just think it's like,
like a high
I'm
risk,
scared of
high
regret.
reward.
I'm very it's a big fear of mine. Like I think of like I'm a deep thinker, so I think about my life when I'm older, and I don't want to have regrets, and I don't want to like wish that I didn't take a chance on something or not do something. Is thing, and I think something is like, I guess a lesson is, maybe like just detaching from the outcome. So just understanding like what I do, I might not ever reach my goal, and I'm okay with that.
yeah,
So it's a scary thing to do, but detaching from the outcome, and then also too like not having expectations for people,
yeah,
because not everybody like necessarily wants what you want, and people have different goals and different lives. So just like love people where they're at and support people along the way, I think is a big lesson for me, because I used to not understand, like, I don't know why people don't think the way I do, but not everybody's the same, and it took me a while to understand that, but I would say those two are probably the biggest lessons that I've learned.
That'll preach.
That's good.
What's the best way that like viewers or just people in Conway can support the both Conway Nutrition as well as Refresh? Like, what's the best way to support?
Yeah, they could give us a follow on social media. You can follow our current business, Conway Nutrition, and our new one, Refresh Conway.
Yeah.
And if you want to give myself a follow, you can follow me at Ben Matlock _ on Instagram.
If you want any foodie reviews, this guy has
I'm the guy.
all of them.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about food. I love food. I
Yeah.
can talk about it all day.
Well, we need him to start his own podcast for food.
Yeah, I like rate places. I've showed you my scale, but
if you thought what's his name, pizza?
Oh, Dave.
If you thought Dave was good, this guy's got it.
Hey, I'm Dave 2.0.
And is that your like number one like pizza rating? Is definitely-
Dave's
No, like for you personally, is pizza like your number one favorite thing to rate?
pizza. I like pizza. I like cinnamon rolls and chocolate chip cookies are like the three that everybody has. More so like the chocolate chip and pizza, which I like. This is why I like Dave so much, because those are like his two. And coincidentally, those are the things that I like. So
It makes it easy for you.
yeah, it
to
makes it
check out
easy.
these spots.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the top two that like when we travel, I like always try. And
Yeah. Word.
I had two more questions just pop in my head,
two
Okay.
more.
and I'm gonna ask them.
Perfect.
First one, so like you're in the nutrition, like you're into the gym and things like that. Are you also into like my health journey of like non-GMOs, dyes? Do you like focus on any of that, or?
Yes and no. Like I made a goal this year to eat less processed, but I'm also not against like, I mean, we have supplements.
Yeah.
And I think supplements are important to put in. I'm not a nutritionist or anything, but I think I do try to eat healthy, but I like supplements because I eat a lot of the same stuff. So I know I'm missing out on nutrients that the supplements can like add into my diet and everything like that. When it comes to the dyes and stuff like that, I'm gonna be honest, I don't like.
Hyper focus on them.
I don't. I know people are right now because it's like the thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I know people like have their opinions on and stuff, and I don't really know, but no, I don't focus on that too much. But I do focus like when I eat, I try to eat what, like you hear people say like, if your great grandparents can recognize it, then you probably can eat it.
Yeah.
So like, I
never heard that. That's good.
I just eat like eggs, beef, rice, sweet potatoes, like
I think
things
you said it the one day. You're like, I eat things from the earth.
from the earth.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what I consist of, and I feel good. That's like the main thing. Like, you don't know how good you feel until you start putting like good things in your body. And I was listening, I like nerd out sometimes and like listen to podcasts. Like Andrew Huberman's like a really smart guy. And today he was talking about like you get dopamine hits from like delicious food. So like, say you go get like a chocolate bar or like something like very unhealthy, and like say you eat that all the time, you're like, your dopamine's always up. So when you eat something unhealthy, it's like nasty. So that's like why it's probably really hard for people to eat like the healthier things, because it doesn't taste good to them anymore. So like I've tried the past like 2 years and going into this year to eat like less processed and more from the earth, which I enjoy. I'd love to have like a farm one day. Yeah. I don't want to take care of the animals, but
that's how I am.
I would love to have
all
them
the benefits without doing the work from it.
Well, you're also a proponent, though, you just said, of supplements as well.
Yeah.
And so what would you say to somebody that's like, no, like, you know, like I've heard even people like, you've probably seen it online where like you're adding creatine to your mom like comes and smacks it. Like, you're taking drugs or steroids, and you're like, no, like, so why are you a proponent of supplements?
I just like them. Like, I think when people do stuff like that, like, I don't know. To me, like, I think people should live how they want to live. Like, if you want to eat healthy, eat healthy. If you don't, it's your life and your choice. But you know,
you reap what you sow, though.
Yeah, for me, like, I like the way I feel when I take supplements, and I'm not going to judge you if you don't, and if you do, I don't care. There's so many different supplements, and everybody like has the perfect one, you know. So, and I've tried a lot of them. I like the ones that we sell and take, so that's why I do it, and I like the benefits I've gotten. I see the results in the mirror. I know the way I feel when I eat healthy, when I take the supplements, and yeah, so. You know, if someone doesn't like it, I don't think they should be bashing other people, but they do. But yeah, I just, you know, for me, it works with my lifestyle, especially like on the go.
Yeah.
So like, if y'all are busy all the time, it's nice to have supplements, because I don't know, which I guess you could cook every meal, but it's still just nice to have supplements to put into your day. And the creatine is great.
Yeah.
I love creatine.
When y'all talk about like supplements, what exactly are you talking about? Are you talking about like
vitamins, creatine?
Okay,
yeah, because I mean,
I
even
take like meal replacement shakes and stuff.
Okay.
And
like
protein shakes.
in some of the like the meal replacement shakes through the nutrition shop, you even mentioned to me the other day, like there is a powder that has all the vitamins that you need in that nutrients, and then the other one has like the whey protein, and so it's a quick protein substitute, especially if you are like, I know you guys are always on the go traveling, and you do a lot for the company that you work for. I feel like I'm always on the go, and so having a protein shake or like the vitamin C's, like it's so quick and it's easy. Now, if somebody's like heavy supplement and no diet, I'd say there's an imbalance there.
Definitely.
So like by doing this, do you feel like you get sick less?
Okay, so yeah,
Bubble busted.
Yeah, no, I like. Yeah, see, I feel great.
Yeah, when this one still gets sick.
Yeah,
I haven't been sick in a minute. Don't jinx it.
So when you eat
sick.
Yeah,
but
I believe like the healthier you eat,
yes,
that's my problem.
The better you feel.
Exactly.
That's my issues. Like,
so why don't you start this journey with me?
I wholeheartedly agree. Well, I don't
you
care
should
about
start
that.
today. You got the fittest college pastor
that's Ben's challenge
in
to me
South
this year.
Carolina.
See,
So
I was
PJ.
going to the gym with this one, and then he stopped going, so then I stopped going. So
don't blame me for your problems.
you.
Don't blame me.
You guys
got to
come to CrossFit with me.
That's another
CrossFit,
thing.
crazy. Okay, my last question was like, so we're in a culture right now where we don't even have to get political because it's just like a common sense thing. But like Republicans and conservatives have taken full control over government. Praise God. We have Donald Trump back in, and we have RFK today. He just passed through the committee to be confirmed as like the new chief health advisor. Do you see more people like wanting to get healthy and even like come to the nutrition shops and things like that because of like a cultural shift?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I hope I can say this right, but I think things get hype for the moment, and they so like people like all on board. So I hope it stays though. Like, and I do think so. I do think that like, especially like the younger generation and like a lot of people are realizing like the healthier I am, the longer I live.
Yeah.
And that's why I eat healthy. You know, I want to be healthy for I want to see my grandchildren, hopefully great grandchildren. Like I want to live a life, a long life and a healthy life where I can like get around without any help or anything like that. And I hope, and I do think that like people want to be healthier and eat healthier things. Because like I just said a minute ago, the healthier you eat, the better you feel. You just feel good.
Yeah. And America has such a problem with healthy foods, and half the country's obese.
Well, and he even said like something like working in ministry with college students. Like one thing I know about them is they want to make an impact in the world, and what better way to impact the world than at least taking care of yourself first?
Definitely.
And so wholeheartedly.
So what are you doing,
bro?
He's on you.
Like
He's
what
on
in
you.
the world? Like I'm preaching the gospel. Like period.
Isn't your body a temple of God?
It is.
So why don't you treat it like it?
I am, because I'm drinking Conway Nutrition.
Yeah.
So hit them up.
Yeah. So, and to touch on that too, and I wanted to say this, but like I know you guys ask a lot about like personal development and stuff. Like it is like mental, but it's also like it's a balance of the three, like mental, physical, and spiritual. So like tying them all in together, like the mental with the personal development, spiritual with like growing your faith in God, and then the physical of like doing the hard things.
Yeah.
And I think when you do these things, like I'm not gonna lie, like I hated reading growing up.
Yeah.
And it's still hard for me to read now. Like it's not something that like it doesn't go away, but you just have that muscle to like do it. So like I'll read in the mornings, and like a lot of the mornings I don't want to. I just do it because I know it's like
You're disciplined.
Yeah. Same with the working out. But then it helps out with other areas in your life when things are hard. Those muscles, like you start building them, and it just makes you able to do hard things.
Yeah. Well, it's like the diagram that you always talk about. If Christ is in the center, and he's like the purpose in everything you do, and then it's like
Everything
the
flows
wheel,
from that.
and
Versus
everything
if-
just works.
Versus
The
the
pie
other one,
chart.
like a lot of people, well, A.W. Tozer says like he's either Lord of all or not Lord at all, and so like he's not it's not this like checklist where like God is number one, but more or less like he's the centerpiece, the proponent of it, and then everything flows from that. So how you view God is the most important thing about your life. We've said that probably 37 times on this podcast, but
And we're gonna keep doing it.
we're gonna keep doing
Is
it.
there anything else that you want to add to share to the Battle Belongs?
Like the
Yeah.
2.4
Family.
million followers we got.
Yeah. No, thank you guys for having me. This is
Yeah.
it's been fun. I don't have anything else to say. But this was a good time.
It was,
Yeah,
it was,
I
it was a
learned. I
I
pleasure.
hope I answered
Yeah.
your questions.
Yeah,
and
for
Oh,
sure.
dude,
You gave me conviction.
I feel like I
I'm gonna
rambled a lot.
I'm gonna go
but
home.
This
Set
was
my
one of my
alarm.
favorite episodes.
I told
honestly.
PJ I like to talk, so I might have you guys for a while.
course.
So.
No, like seriously, like personal development is such a, and it's in a good way. Like it's such a high like stake right now. Like everybody's wanting
Yeah.
it, and so like to have somebody like you, like, and that's the thing is like people around you, like you're a normal person. That we just met at
Yeah, so crazy.
like a local nutrition
Yeah,
shop.
it's
and
God,
just-
you know.
yeah,
He brought
man.
us
So
together.
like, I praise God for again just our friendship and who you are and the drive that you have. So, follow Conway Nutrition, follow Refresh Conway, follow Ben, follow Kara if you want some
Yes.
funny like humorous content. That's what somebody told me. I swear she's a funny.
She's the
a funny
best.
person.
She's
Yeah.
the best.
So
I love her.
and then follow the Battle Belongs
I was
podcast.
gonna say.
So don't worry about following me.
You're going, yeah, because you're on social media right now. Can we bring that back, please?
Yeah, we'll do it this month. So
Great. You're going to New York tomorrow. And then next week we have
heck yeah, I didn't know
Niece's
that.
Nugs.
yeah,
Niece's Nugs, Battle Belongs podcast crossover coming next week. We still don't know what we're talking about, but I think it's going to be deep in politics because
yeah, likely. So least favorite
I haven't
episode.
done one.
I'm just kidding.
You
So-
can interview us then.
Yeah, I will. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.